Hi, in this section, I'm going to be discussing some ADA and EEOC laws and regulations. And these are some federal laws that are put in place that protect people from being discriminated against in any step of the employee process or life cycle uh, based on their color, race, age, sex, national origin, religion, and it also protects them from being retaliated against if they make a discrimination charge. Some of these ADA laws and regulations, they really help people with disabilities fulfill their job duties by accommodating them in terms of, you know, accessibility, communication, certain accommodations to do certain tasks, and those kind of things. And it protects them from being discriminated against as well. Some of the bigger laws that affect Wendy, she said, is the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act. And this law just makes it illegal, like I said, to discriminate against any employee or future employee or potential employee against discrimination based on those things being race, color, age, religion, sex, national origin. And it protects them from retaliation. And if they are to participate in an EEOC meeting. Another law that affects her as the HR or as the practice manager there is the Equal Pay Act. She needs to make sure that regardless of the sex, that employees doing the same work with the same skills are being paid the same wage. You know, take out the seniority, the seniority aspect, but it basically makes it illegal to pay two different wages to men and women if they perform the same task in the same workplace. So, you know, because it's just been proven that women are paid quite a bit less in the workplace. So it protects us from the inequality. And then the ADA, or Americans with Disability Act. This one actually affects me quite personally. I have a disabled sister, and so I've seen this quite a few times. The discrimination that she's received when she's went for employment. So this became law in 1990. It makes it legal to discriminate based on a disability of an employee or a potential employee, and public accommodations, transportation, commercial, or telecommunications. And it protects them from being discriminated against too if they were skilled and qualified to perform those duties within the position. The Pregnancy Discrimination Act, it's an amendment to Title VII. It makes it illegal to discriminate against women because of a pregnancy, childbirth, or any condition related to those two things. And when organizations are, when organizations are charged and found guilty of these things, there can be fined anywhere from $50,000 to $300,000, depending on the size of the organization. And these laws apply to all labor unions and any organization with 15 or more employees. And I think it has to be 20 or more employees for age discrimination lawsuits. And I think that's it for this section. Thank you. Hi, in this section, we're going to be discussing some job descriptions. So as part of this interview and research project, I had to create two different job descriptions, one for an exempt position and then one for a non-exempt position. Typically, though, when HR is going to be creating a job description, they want to conduct a job analysis, and that's really just gathering as much information about that position as they possibly can, and that's really done through employee observation, feedback from the employees that are currently performing within that position, and then looking at other outside sources to see how other organizations may be having their employees carry out those positions, their compensation, benefits, that kind of thing. And then also from that, then you need to come up with or decide what are the desired knowledge, skills, and abilities that you want in your potential candidates that you're looking for in that job. And that could be, anything, education, experience, and their soft skills. Hi, in this section, we're going to go over training curriculum outline. So at Gentle Dental, there is a lot involved in the employee onboarding process because there's a lot of training and required certifications that have to happen for their employees. One, because they're working in the medical dental field, and they are exposed to chemicals and bloodborne pathogens, and they have to abide by certain laws, just like the HIPAA law. So Wendy stated that it takes quite a few weeks to a couple months to completely onboard an employee, which is good because typically to correctly and efficiently onboard an employee, it takes about 90 days to ensure that they have everything down. And it's really important that employees are all onboarded correctly because it really saves time in the end, and it improves job satisfaction because they're not feeling like they're inadequately trained or being corrected because they're taught how to do it correctly right off the bat. And it helps the organization because, one, their employees are doing things efficiently and the right way, and they understand like company policies and procedures as well. So it leads to less confusion and higher job satisfaction on the part of the employee. So also onboarding employees should really start before their first day. A lot of employees or organizations, I should say, start with once that employee is hired, but before they start their first shift, they're given a welcome packet. And this is basically a list of company policies, how they handle discipline, code of conduct, benefits, any hiring paperwork that should be filled out and given back on the first day, that kind of stuff. It helps give them, it's more in an informational packet about the organization for the employee so that they can be better prepared coming in as to what to expect, how they should behave, what the organization expects, those kind of things. And then on the first day, you're usually dealing with, new hire paperwork, doing I-9s paperwork, all that stuff, tax paperwork, and showing the employee around the building, introductions, that kind of thing, getting them a little bit more acclimated to where they're going to be working. And then within the first week, it's a lot of that same thing, only there's going to be training mixed in. Wendy says they use, I think it's a UKG training at Gentle Dental, which is all online, and it's a third-party curriculum. And that takes several weeks. But employees there, they have to go and they do OSHA training, bloodborne pathogen training, HIPAA training, anti-discrimination and harassment training. There's a couple others. Fraud, COVID training on their software, diversity training. And she just informed me that Gentle Dental, or Interdent is the parent company, is now willing to train the dental assistants as well. So if you're coming in as an unskilled assistant, they will do on the job training for that, and that's a lot more in depth. And then, you know, after the first month, you should really just be, if all the training is done and the certifications, you should really just be checking up on the employee and seeing if they have everything that they need, if they're happy, how they feel about performing their positions. And it gives you kind of a better idea of where they're at and what needs to be maybe improved on, or areas that they're excelling in. And then also, it should be done at 60 and 90 days. If they're not done with the training by then, it should be reassessed. Like, why isn't it done? Do you need additional help? But usually it's just employee check-in, and you see how the employee's doing, and let them know how they're doing within the organization. And it really helps both employee and the organization to just know how to correctly onboard your employees, because it really does ensure the satisfaction of the employee, and then also, like I said, the performance of the employee, and then it helps the organization because it's more productive and profitable, and their employees are more knowledgeable. Thank you.